In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Papermind Mitsubishi Bank Paper Notebook. I'll go over the specs, I'll do a paper test, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this notebook coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. Today's review is going to be a little bit different than normal because the product that I'm reviewing is a product that I've created. I've actually launched a new line of notebooks called the Papermind, and I'm reviewing our first product, this Mitsubishi Bank Paper Notebook. And the reason that I've launched this company was really because I couldn't get Mitsubishi Bank Paper in a format that I liked, and I wasn't able to consistently buy it. You know, the Kakimori notebook that I reviewed a few months ago, I can't buy that anymore. I don't think they make it anymore. And I wanted to have a more consistent way to get this paper. I know people really like this paper because it is so special, it is so good. But anyway, the review, I will do my normal format for the most part, and I will try to be as objective as possible, but obviously I'm going to like this notebook because, well, I designed it. For Blake's Broadcast subscribers and viewers, I am offering 10% off of your order with code BB10. So at checkout, you can put that in. If you decide to buy one of these notebooks, you get 10% off. Okay, let's get on with the review. So here we have the Papermind Mitsubishi Bank Paper Notebook. Now it comes in 3 different colors. We have a black, a gray, and a red. Looking at the packaging here, you can see we've got Mitsubishi Bank Paper, of course, 87.9 GSM, stitched lay flat binding, 7mm light gray rule, 12 signatures, 192 pages, and a bookmark. And this is a soft cover, and this is the A5 size. The website, thepapermind.com, and this is, of course, made in Japan. So let's take a look at this black one. Starting with the cover, we have a Japanese paper cloth cover, and again, red, gray, and this is the black. Going to the back here, it's pretty much plain except for this silver foil logo here, which says Papermind, and then the website, thepapermind.com, and made in Japan. Now, I had these notebooks bound by Watanabe Bookbinding, which is an old family-run company in Tokyo. So these are made in Tokyo, and all the components that go into this notebook are made in Japan. Now, looking at the spine here, this looks very similar to a Midori MD notebook or a Yamamoto Cosmo Air Light notebook. Basically, we just have this mull here, a bookbinder's mesh, and we have a black bookmark here. Now, I chose to go with a naked binding because it just increases the overall flexibility of the notebook, which I'll show you later. Opening the notebook, we have this gray end paper here from Takeo. This is a really nice high quality paper. It's gray in all 3 different colors. I liked this just sort of simple neutral color. And then we go right into the Mitsubishi Bank Paper. So we have a 7mm rule here. It's a 12mm margin at the top. At the bottom it's 9, and on the sides it's 5. I like the look of this. It's, even though it does lay extremely flat, I still like a little bit of a break in between the lines here, and I think this layout looks really nice. I hope that you guys will like it. Now, this paper is watermarked. Looking relatively close, you can see diamond here and 3 here. It's quite hard to show on camera. It is a letterpressed watermark that they, put on this big cylinder that's rolled onto the paper when it's manufactured. Now, talking a little bit about Mitsubishi Bank Paper, this is a paper that's made up of several different types of wood, pulp, and a little bit of cotton. Going back to that watermark, 3 diamonds, of course, is the Mitsubishi logo. This was originally designed in 1960 is a bank ledger paper, and its intended purpose was to be written on with pens. A lot of the papers we use today had other purposes other than writing. You know, it might be that it was designed for laser printing or something else. I believe Tomoe River was originally a Bible paper or a catalog paper that was meant to be printed on. Not saying that I don't like that paper, I do, and it is great to write on, but this paper really was designed to be written on with pens. That was its intended purpose. This paper is made in Mitsubishi's Takasago mill in Japan. This is a 100-year-old factory, and they run the machine that manufactures this paper only once or twice a year, and it's a very slow process compared to modern paper machines. So again, it's a costly paper, and it sort of shows Mitsubishi's dedication to the art of paper. This is definitely a legacy product for them, a specialty product. They're not making lots of money by producing this paper. It's not a coated paper like Tomoe River or Cosmo Air Light, so you do get a little bit of a texture there, but it's really great, and it works very nicely with edged pens. It works pretty much with all fountain pens I've thrown at it. Now, going to the paper test here, and again, we saw this paper with the Kakimori notebook, which unfortunately is no longer available. The look of this is really good. There's no feathering here, no bleeding. Everything looks nice and crisp. These two inks, the Diamine Festive Cheer and Bloody Absinthe, these are sheening inks, and it definitely does show this off quite nicely. Again, like the front of like the Sharpie here and the Copic sketch, this all looks really, really nice. Nothing messy here, and these are usually the most difficult pens. Now going to the back here, and again, we're under pretty bright light, so the ghosting here does look worse than it is in real life, but it's a very opaque, dense paper. And if we look at the fountain pens, there is no bleeding here at all. I really ran the nib back and forth here a good amount. I tried applying some good pressure to this relatively soft Mont Blanc nib, and I did one pass and two passes with this 6mm Pilot Parallel pen. It took all of it really nicely. Looking at all of the roller balls, the Otofude ball, the Uniball Air Micro, sometimes papers fail on those. No issues here with any of like the regular writing pens. And even the Stettler Lumocolor permanent marker didn't make it through to the other side, so it actually held that ink surprisingly well. The Sharpie, we get a little bit of spotting, but it's struggling to come through there. Copic, it's really not coming through too much at all, and of course the face of this looks really good with this marker. If you wanted to draw with Copic markers on one side of the page, I think that would work okay with this Mitsubishi bank paper. Pilot oil drawing pen, I'm struggling to see anything that came through, just maybe ever so slightly. It's not coming through all the way, let's put it that way. So really impressive performance. Again, uncoated paper here. This is one of my absolute favorite papers, and that's why when I wasn't able to buy these notebooks with this paper in it, I decided to make my own. That's really it. Now, in terms of flexibility, it's of course very flexible. There's not too much resistance here, and it lays completely flat. Doesn't really matter where you put it. It's super flexible. You know, Watanabe does an amazing job, quality of their bindings. And with this notebook, we have 12 signatures here, which is really good for 192 pages. It just allows the notebook to be very flexible. And then we have a black ribbon bookmark here. I always like to have a bookmark. Let's do some live writing samples here, and I'll compare it to Tomoe River, the 52 GSM, just so you guys can kind of see more of the difference. This is a Hobonichi planner, and we'll go in the back here. Tomoe River is definitely something you want to use with a blotter sheet or a blotter card like this, because it takes quite a long time to dry. I do not have that problem with the Mitsubishi bank paper. It is dense. It doesn't drink the ink like some papers do, but I find for me, when I'm using it, I don't feel the need for the blotter sheet like I do with Tomoe River and some of the other coated papers. That is one definite difference here. So let's zoom in a bit. I'll start with this Mont Blanc 149 OBB, and again, I have that festive cheer in there. Yeah, it's a really nice paper to write on. It's quite smooth. There's just a hint of feedback, but it's really, really super nice to write on. Now going on to the Tomoe River. Let's go to maybe a finer nib. I'm going to use this Twisby Eco with the Diamine Ancient Copper. And then popping back over here. Now compared to the Tomoe River, you will feel a bit more of the texture with a thinner pen like this. Using a broad nib like this OBB Mont Blanc nib, the difference is a little bit smaller, but here it is more noticeable. And I forgot what I was saying, or writing rather. Comparing these two, looking at sheen here, we really get a good amount of sheen, I think, from both papers. I think you're probably going to notice a hair more with the Tomoe River just because it is so smooth. It is that coated paper. The ink doesn't really absorb too much into that paper at all. And then looking at the lines of this paper between the extra fine in the Ancient Copper here, don't really see much of a difference. Now, going up to the Mont Blanc, the OBB nib, we see a little bit of a difference. The line on the Mitsubishi bank paper with that pen is, I think, a hair thinner, and that is a very wet nib. I don't think that Tomoe River really gives you a lot of line spread, but maybe there is just a touch compared to the Mitsubishi bank paper. Also notice that the lines from the pen on the Tomoe River look a little bit smoother, whereas here you can see more of the texture of the paper in the line there. And again, it's not feathering, that's really just the texture of the paper showing through. So both of these papers are really, really good. The look on the page is a little bit different with the Mitsubishi bank paper. I can see arguments for why you would like both. I like that we're seeing the texture of the paper come through a little bit with these wider nibs. I find that appealing, but of course the slightly smoother line is also very nice. So what are my pros and cons for the Papermind Mitsubishi bank paper notebook? The biggest pro is definitely the Mitsubishi bank paper. This is a really high-end premium paper that was specifically designed for writing with pens. It holds fountain pen ink really nicely without bleeding or feathering. It does show off some of the sheening characteristics of inks. It's really nice. It has that very nice 3 diamonds watermark. The other thing that I really like about this is the binding. We have this, naked spine here. It's stitched. There are 12 signatures. It is very, very, very flexible, and it lays flat. It's a very comfortable notebook to use. I also like the design of this notebook. It's very plain in design, very minimalistic, nothing to distract you from writing. We just have a simple silver foil stamp on the back, and that is it. Now, this notebook does fit most A5 notebook covers that I've used, so if you do have, a favorite leather notebook cover in an A5 size, it will probably fit this notebook. Now, in terms of cons, right now I'm only shipping in the United States. I'm hoping to add Australia, the UK, and Canada very soon. So that's a bummer. I know right now it's only shipping in the United States. For Blake's broadcast viewers, You can use code BB10 to get 10% off at checkout. If you guys are interested in dot grid or regular grid, please let me know in the comment section below and I'll consider adding that to the line. But as of right now, it's blank and ruled. The other con, which is similar to other Mitsubishi Bank paper products, is it is on the expensive side. If you use that code that I gave you, BB10, for 10% off, it becomes $31 and change. Regular retail price is $35, and that's an expensive notebook. Mitsubishi Bank paper is about twice the price of Cosmo Air Light, which are already, definitely premium paper, but I love writing on it, and I personally think it is worth the extra money, which is why I decided to make this notebook, because that paper is so special. That is pretty much it. The website is thepapermind.com. If you liked this video, please hit that like button. If you have comments or feedback about this notebook, if there's something that you think I should change or tweak, I'm definitely interested in hearing that. If you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much, and until next time.